Wavin plugin for Revit, Prefab feature. We'd like to present Wavin Prefab feature for Revit. This powerful feature is intended for users who prepare models ready for prefabrication, need to create pipework assembly, want to split installation to view details, have many repeatable routes in the project. Feature allows to effectively model and document the views necessary to construct prefabricated MEP elements. Let's zoom in one example and create prefab drawing. To create a new Wavin assembly, we need to select the elements which should be included. No worries when your selection contains other categories than MEP. Plugin will filter them out from the selection. Now, we click Create Prefab button. It can be found in the Contextual Modify tab or directly in Wavin ribbon. Now, we have to push it. Then we'll be asked to select Configuration and provide a name for this assembly. When it comes to settings, it will be set in the next part of the tutorial. In this case, we'll use Wavin default settings. Let's go ahead and call this Prefab Assembly A, and then confirm. Now, Revit is creating prefab drawing, and it will take a few seconds. Automatically, we are jumping into already created prefab sheet. Now, we can change title blocks, drag the views and parts list, move tags up to our own requirements, assembly that we just created is now accessible in the project browser at the bottom of list. You can see the prefab assembly is listed here. When we expand the list, we can find views included in the current assembly, bill of material with reference numbers for each elements, and accurate pipe lengths which can be used to cut pipes in the factory. And finally, Sheet View will let us place all individual views onto a single sheet that we can then send out to fabricators. Editing assembly. What happens when we want to modify existing assembly? If we did some changes in current assembly, it's obligatory to refresh the prefab. New items were added to the assembly, and in this case, the parts list tags need to be updated. To update already created prefab, we can go to the Wavin ribbon, expand button list from Prefab Group, and click Edit Prefab. Now we have to update the prefab and recalculate all items. Additionally, there is a possibility to change tags visibility. And if we would like to skip some items from the drawing, we can make it here and remember the list. In this particular case, couplers were ignored. As you can see, couplers were removed from tagging and from the parts list too. Configuration. If we already know how to create and edit Wavin Prefab in a default way, it's a good time to tell you more about configuration and user-defined presets. To adapt prefabs to your own sheet styles and view templates, Wavin extended the feature by configuration window. We have two ways to go find the configuration window: directly in Wavin ribbon, or in the Contextual Modify tab during prefab creation. We will do a new prefab. It is worth saying that plugin will warn you when something goes wrong. For example, when the name of prefab is already in use. But let's come back to configuration. Push Settings button. Default options are locked, but if we would like to define own options, click Add New Preset. There are several options to set. Define prefix name for new assemblies. Define default scale for all views. Configure visibility for all views. Set view template for each view type. Select default sheet from the list. Decide about tagging. Let's check how it works on examples. Switch off elevation bottom. The list of view templates depends on the view type category. Additionally, view template has to be created or loaded to the project before we will use it for prefab needs. Select View Template for 3D view from existing project templates. As we can see, elevation bottom is removed. 3D view and sheet size is changed according to defined configuration. Now, our prefab is ready to print. Thanks for watching. Make sure you watch the rest of the Wavin tips and tricks tutorials on our dedicated BIM channel.